Welcome to this week's episode of Streaming News, where I catch you up on all the little tidbits that happen throughout the week instead of you having to watch a bunch of videos that I make unnecessarily long. I hope you guys are having a great New Year's. I know I am. And today's video is kind of crazy because we got some big topics. First, I think Amazon is doing something that legitimately should be illegal. You guys are going to see that coming up. We also have the possibility of a brand new ONN device and why I definitely think it's coming later in 2026. Your VPN might just be a bit more useless now. And lastly, we have the scammer of the week, where I go over somebody who's been scamming the community and try to expose them, so then you guys don't have to get caught up in it. Like always, if you're new to the channel, subscribe down below. So let's kick things off with the ONN 4K Pro, which has been out for well over a year now. And it was the first premium unit released by Walmart. But something has been happening. If we go to the Pros page on Walmart, you're gonna see it has been constantly on sale, but not just that, it has been low in stock. So we can see it right there, low stock. And this means something typically, which is Walmart is moving past this model and potentially towards a brand new one. And further kind of proof of that is they released the ONN 4K Plus earlier this year, which, interesting enough, has quite a bit higher of a benchmark score for CPU. So if we look at AFTV's tests right here, you can see the ONN 4K Plus is actually one of the most powerful devices if we're just looking at the benchmark score. But then we have to scroll all the way down here, past even the ONN 4K Box 1, to see where the Pro kind of sits at, even below the Fire Stick 3 2020 version. And so this leaves an interesting gap in Walmart's, kind of lineup, where you have this premium device that, yes, has this really nice design, has a remote finder, hands-free Google Assistant, but you're missing out on a little bit of performance that you would want to be paying extra for. And this one does cost a little bit extra, $44 right now on sale for the Pro. For $15 less, you're getting the Plus for $30. So it's interesting. I do think this kind of shows that a new device will be coming out soon, and I would expect it mid 2026 to a little bit later, going to August, September. Now, Amazon is doing something that is straight up pissing me off. I'll say it like that. And that is, they're taking an old device, which is the Fire TV Blaster. They actually haven't sold this in a long time. And it's essentially an intermediary from the Echo devices to your surround sound system, so you can control it with your Echo. So it basically will then, send the signal to your surround sound system that doesn't have Alexa built into it. And it will be able to change the volume, turn it up and down, stuff like that. But what Amazon is doing is they're not only discontinuing it, which is not abnormal, they are remotely killing functional units. And I actually don't see the point for this. Like, this was not a crazy high selling unit. It didn't have the highest star rating. It also only had 3,600 reviews, which when you look at it in terms of Amazon products is not a crazy amount for an Amazon specific product. But Amazon is making the decision to completely disable these remotely. So you're now going to have this big hunk of, I don't actually know how big it is, probably a little bit bigger than a Fire Cube and taller. This is what it kind of looks like. And they're going to remotely kill it to a product that you bought that, by the way, there's no reason to do that. This isn't costing Amazon, from anything I can think of, to further run this device. It's not like it's a gaming server where they just completely stop an MMO, but they're making that decision that, hey, we don't want this product working anymore. So I don't know if they're coming out with something better, or they're just, what's the point of this? What is there, like 200 people still using these? I think it's such a dumb decision. I think something like this is straight up company waste and should be illegal. You should not be able to do this, or you have to refund the original purchase price of anybody that comes to you and says, hey, my device is no longer working. So I don't know. I think that's BS in my mind. I want you guys to let me know what you think down below on this one, because I think this is absolutely gross. I'm not a big fan. Okay, coming up next, we have VPNs in French court have been ordered to block pirate IPTV sites. And these aren't just any VPNs, these are big names. So we have CyberGhost, Express, Nord, Proton, Surfshark, not IPVanish, link down below in the description. Although, to be fair, they probably are on this list, maybe they just weren't listed. But essentially, they're doing the same thing that they've been doing with internet service providers, which is now your ISP, not necessarily you, depending on where you live, but they work with the courts and they give them lists of websites to block, and they block them. So you can't illegally stream content, essentially. But this is kind of new with VPNs because they've typically used the no-log defense, saying, hey, we can't just block our French users because that's against our policy. We don't know where our French users are or when they're being used. But the court did not fall for it. They rejected their defense and they rejected this argument, which I think would still hold up in US court because of privacy laws. But this is a big step forward with a country finally using a VPN to block content as well. So you can no longer evade your country's blocking with a VPN. The only way to do this going forward would be to use like a proxy of some sort, right? And that's a little harder to set up for most people than just logging into a VPN and using it. So this is an interesting outcome. And I think it will greatly affect things going forward because other countries and companies such as Netflix, Ace, all those companies that go after these court arguments are going to start using this one. And they know that's the way because getting it blocked through your internet service provider is not necessarily hard anymore. Getting it blocked through a VPN that's a private company that's saying, hey, our business is privacy. And if we do this, we're losing business. And so the courts are going to have to decide if that's what they want to do. So very interesting topic. Now we're going to get to our scammer of the week, which is something I want to do more of going forward, but I need your help identifying some scammers in the community, whether it's selling overpriced Android boxes, not honoring their warranty, garbage IPTV, whatever it is. I want you guys to send me your scammers, and here's how you're going to do it. On my website, I've actually set up a section in our forum, and I'm going to link our forum down below. If you go here and you go to the streaming news bulletin on my website, again, I'll link this down below. All you have to do is create an account on my website to post on the bulletin. It's completely free, so don't worry about it. I don't track any of your data or anything like that unless you want a newsletter every week. And if you go to the streaming news section, you're going to find this new category called scammers. So this is where you guys will be able to post your scammer of the week, you know, whether you have somebody that ripped you off or anything like that, and they have a chance to be featured in my brand new segment. This doesn't have to just necessarily be Android or IPTV related. If they ripped you off on something else, let me know and we will expose them. You'll have a chance to be featured. So go ahead and leave your replies. Try to include as much information as possible, but no personal information apart from like, if it's a Facebook page or something, you guys can always email that to me. But today we're getting to a guy that I have dealt with before in the past, and that's Tech Guy IO. Now, this guy is a serial scammer that overcharges. He calls his boxes 8K. He says he gives warranty, but he never does. And I noticed he got banned on TikTok. I can't find his TikTok anymore, so I usually don't applaud people getting banned, but this guy is not a good guy. But he started a new thing called Go Streams, and I want to show you something that kind of exactly made me think of bringing this segment back. This is an ONN 4K Plus box for $130 US. He is overcharging by $100 to sell you this box with some garbage IPTV that probably costs him $20 a month, $20 for that full year that he's adding on here. He is straight up ripping people off. I'm sure if I go in here, I'm sure we'll see. Let's see. How long of a warranty does he claim? I'm sure he's going to claim a year. I've heard from multiple people that have dealt with him. He has never honored a warranty, which is super scummy as well, especially somebody for selling a product like this that is already kind of illegal and anybody can do themselves for half the price and half the effort. It actually doesn't say warranty on here, so maybe that's not actually included anymore. But either way, guys, that's the scammer of the week. Stay away from this guy, Tech Guy IO. Sells absolute garbage. I would not deal with him at all, but just something to be aware of. And again, you can access that on our brand new scammers section of our forum. Log in, leave a comment if there's somebody you want to be featured. Now, before we go, guys, I'm not going to sell you a VPN today, but if you want to check out some new tech products, I actually have my Amazon shopping page where I do all sorts of more tech reviews, all sorts of different products. So if you guys want to check that out, that's amazon.com/shop/upgrade guy. I also have that linked in the description down below. And you guys can actually follow me on Amazon, and then my videos might pop up in your feed on Amazon and stuff. So kind of cool. Anyways, that's the news, guys. Subscribe down below. See you next week.